I'm now being joined by the Vice President, Nigerian Labour Congress, Issa Aremu, from our Abuja studio. Good morning, Mr. Aremu.
Hello, good morning. How are you doing, Chimeze?
Very well, thank you. We are looking at the proposed amendment of the Pension Act 2004. Part of which is being proposed is the upward review of pension contributions to 20%, 12% by employer and 8% by employee. What's the take of Labour on this?
Well, I think it's quite a mixed feeling. But let me put it this way, that the old rate of 7.5% for employees and 7.5% for employers, we've always agitated that the old rates were completely inequitable. Inequitable in the sense that we thought it was grossly unfair for you to ask employers and employees to pay the same rate. That is certainly not the best global practice. Worldwide, it is always the ratio of 2 to 1. The employers pay double than what the employees paid. So to the extent that the new proposed amendment has increased the rate of the employers more than that of the employees, we think is quite equitable to that extent. Of course, we can discuss the details about the rates, whether the rate is quite justifiable or not, but we think the new proposed amendment is quite equitable. But talking about the details of the rate, during the public hearing, I was there to speak for my union. Don't forget, I'm also the General Secretary of Textile Workers Union, which is a private sector union. We actually suggested that rather than the new rate of 12% for the employers and 8% for employees, we actually even insisted that the employers' rate should be 15%, while that of the employees should be 10%. And what is the rationale for that? First, it's equitable to the extent that the employers will pay more, at least 5% more than what the employees will pay. But also, very significantly, we've also seen the need for increase on the part of the employees. And why do you say so? Because we strongly believe that for this pension scheme to be sustainable and to be fair to the working people, it must guarantee income adequacy. At the current rate of 7.5%, at the end of the day, we don't think a worker who retires can get enough money or to be able to cope with after retirement. So we strongly believe that it's in our best interest to decide to save more for our future. And above all, employers should be able to save more. So now, in summary, what I'm saying, Chimeze, here is that we are quite impressed that the rates have been made equitable to the extent that employers pay more, but we'll be far more excited, even if the employers are made to pay more than 12%, if they can pay 15%, and while the employees can pay 10%. Because the beauty of this new scheme is that it's not defined contribution. Defined contribution, we think, is far more better than the old defined unfunded defined benefits.
Now, Mr. Aremu, you are proposing that the employers should pay 15% while the employees pay 10%. Yes. Now, the employers also have their own challenges. Of course, some of them would complain that, look, even the 12% that is being proposed in the bill, they are not even, comfortable with that because most of them may not be able to meet up with that. Have you ever thought of people losing their jobs? Because some of these employers may have to resort to sacking people since they cannot meet up with that. So I wonder why the suggestion that employers should pay 15%, even when some of them, or even most of them, can't even afford the 12%.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I've lost touch with communication.
No, we're hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Okay, yeah. Now, if you are hearing me, I think, well, again, those are issues that have also been discussed extensively. Don't forget that both the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Employers Association serve on the board of the National Pension Commission. And the proposed amendment, to a large extent, were also part of the processes before then. So we've done a lot of discussions, and we've looked at what rates are sustainable, what rates can guarantee current income for the working people, and what rates can guarantee appropriate pension when they retire. And above all, what rates can also reflect the ability of employers to pay. I mean, all this we've discussed extensively. But let me also put it this way, that ordinarily, I mean, left for the employers, I'm very sure they see everything in terms of costs. And as far as they are concerned, workers are cost items. But enlightened employers today have also realized that workers are assets, and that the money you save for the future of the working people can even guarantee more productivity for them today. So when you talk of ability to pay, some enlightened employers also talk of the capacity of the workers to be motivated, to be productive now, currently as they are. So what I'm trying to say here is that in any case, the proposed amendment put it at 12%, as well as 8%. I'm about to tell you that what we desire, and some enlightened employers already desire that. Let me also conclude on this note to say that for unions who are in the private sector, some unions have even negotiated beyond this rate. So when you say some employers cannot pay, some enlightened employers have, through collective agreement, paid their workers more than this. I mean, textile sector where I come from is certainly it's not one of the most vibrant sectors when you talk of in terms of economic performance, given the level of depression we face. But we've exceeded this rate as proposed even by PENCOM in this bill. The current rate in my sector is combined together is 22%. Employers paid 15%. We paid I think about 8% or so for the employees. And this we did through the process of collective bargaining. And I'm very sure if you take the industry average, most employers have really exceeded these rates. I think these rates, as significant as they are still far from the ideal. I think we need to build enough fund, to make this scheme to be sustainable. And we can see that the future belongs to contributory pension scheme, definitely, not the old unfunded defined benefits, which that it has become source of host of economic crimes on the part of those people who are stealing public pension. And largely, many workers in public sector couldn't get paid because they had a scheme that had not been funded. So we strongly believe that if we can save for our future, as long as the pension fund administrators work very well, they are accountable, they are properly managed, as PENCOM has already commendably been, I don't think we complain about this rate at all. On the contrary, the better we save more for us, the better for all of us.
Well, before I take you up on the issue of savings, now some people have argued that even at 7.5% that currently stands, most employees and even employers do not participate in this scheme. So what is the guarantee that they will, if increased to 8% or 12% or even the 15% and 10% you're proposing?
I'm not hearing.
Yeah, I was saying that some people have argued that even at 7%...
Yeah, I actually missed part of your question, but the first aspect I got...
Yeah, I said, what is the guarantee that, these set of people, I mean, these employers or employees that are not even presently participating in this scheme will participate eventually if this is raised to 8% and 12%, or even the 15% and 10% that you are proposing?
No, I think the problem of non-participation, I think that's a challenge for the PENCOM, because the law is all inclusive, both the public and private sector, both the federal and state government. And I think we have also made a case in our submission on the amendment of this bill that the coverage should be all-inclusive. In fact, by now, we expect PENCOM to move in also to informal sector. And we should stop the current rate of exemptions that are going on. You know, I mean, there are some people who are engaging in withdrawals and exemptions. I think that's completely wrong. I don't think the lack of participation or lack of effective coverage is due to the rates as such. I think it's the challenge of making sure that we get many employers to come on board. And I think state governments, a good number of state governments are already coming in. And I think PENCOM has to sit up to get to capture even not just the existing formal sector, to go into informal sector. So what I'm saying here is that don't also forget that this pool of fund, in fact, largely the employers benefit more because don't forget that this pool of fund, until the workers get paid, they keep this money they invest it in money market, even though we have our reservation on that. And I think in the new amendment, proposal has been made to also make sure that it's available for long-term funding for development. Of course, without jeopardizing the basic objective, which is that when the worker retires, he must get his money. I think that enlightened employers know that this pool of funds is all appropriate, available for all of us. And I don't think it's because of the rates that some have not really joined. I think the challenge is for PENCOM to be more aggressive, to make sure that they make sure that there's more coverage at all levels, so that many employers and many companies come on board under this new scheme.
But